Okay, let's get ready to print this now. Um, these dimensions that I originally put in don't really line up. I could click on them and bring them down um, and realign them, but I'm not going to do that. It's just going to be easier for me to redimension this. But let's set up our dimensions because we're using a ruler to draw this out. I want to actually put these dimensions. If you notice when I had them, they were decimal. And I don't want them decimal. I want them in fraction. So how do we change that? If we go up into our annotation, this is our notes and our dimension tab. I'm going to pull this arrow down. Okay, and it's easier if we do this before we start dimensioning. Now, these icons match the icons up here. So we're looking for, these are the how we change the dimension style. So we're looking for this one with the two arrows. Okay, and I click on that. Now, when I open this up, you'll see this is how, it's a preview of how our dimensions are going to look. We're going to go in here and we're going to change it. So we're looking for the word that means change. It's going to be modify. And when we open this up, you can see there's all kinds of different things we can change. How the arrows look, the size of our text. Let's actually, because we're going to change this to fractions, let's change our text size to 150,000. So it's going to be like this, or it's going to be 0.150. And primary units is where we really need to go and change things. So I'm going to click on primary units, and we're going to change this from decimal to fractions. Okay, and that should pop up in here, and it shows us what our fractions are going to look like. Everything else we can kind of keep the same. But I'm going to click OK, and I am going to just to make sure, I'm going to go set to current, and now that's going to make all of our new annotations and dimensions in our scene, or just the dimensions, I should say, as fractions. So we're going to go up and we're going to start with dimensioning the overall size of our project. So I'm going to grab my dimension tool. Now this line isn't going to be, I could click on this line here in the middle and it will give that. But another way of doing this is if I have my snaps turned on, I can go from this point, it shows me the endpoint, from here to here, and that will attach my dimension from those 2 points. And I can drag this up. I'm going to make this one kind of the farthest one out. And I might need to move that later because I'm going to do this one next. Now if I click over here, as long as I'm not on this midpoint and I don't have a green snap, okay? So I might have to zoom in a little bit to do that. Let me pan down. I'm in the middle. Now it's telling me this is 5 3/4. Okay, and then I can drag this up to here. Now I also wanted to mention how wide my tabs stick out, so that's 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to go from here to here. Now I have my ortho turned off, so let me just see how that looks without it. It's going to want to, I can have it on, that's perfect. If I don't do that, it's going to want to drag this and give me a different dimension because it's the length of that line. So I'm okay doing that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drag my mouse to the right until it snaps up and down. Now I'm going to line these arrows up here, and I'm going to click on that endpoint. Okay, it's typical. I don't have to do that for here. You can if you want, and you can make it the same on this side if you feel that that's going to make reading your blueprint a little easier. Now what I don't like is that this 3/4 is here. So I hit escape a couple times. Get out of my dimension tool. Now if I click on this dimension, it gives me some things that I can change and move. I'm going to move the 3/4 here. I'm going to click on this grab handle, this grip, and I'm going to drag it into the middle right here. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I click on the number, I click on the grip here, and drag that into the middle as well. Okay, so that gives me my measurements for that. What I also want to do now is I want to make sure that this shows that it's a 1/4 inch down. So let's try that again and see if we can get this 1/4 inch dimension to show up. So from here to here, and I'm going to pull my mouse down until it clicks, and there's a 1/4 inch. That's what we want there. I'm going to do the same thing from here to here. Okay, I'm going to pull it over and then up enough. And it's a little bit funky, but there's no real good way to do that if I do them both on that side. Maybe if you don't like that, maybe what I'll do is I'll actually do it on this side. Let's try that and see if it looks a little cleaner. 1, 2, and I think that's a little bit cleaner for that. It's just not gonna, you're gonna have to look in 2 different spots for the dimensions on that tab. What else do we need to dimension? Let's dimension these parts going down, okay? And well, let's do the width of all of our tabs and the sidewalls here. So I'm going to run a dimension on the inside here. So I'm going to go from this line, click once, down to this line, click twice. Okay, and that did not work. So let me try it one more time. I'm going to go, this time let me go maybe from this midpoint, from the midpoint here to the midpoint here. Now it did, and that's going to be 3/8 of an inch. Okay, and I'm going to go here from here down to here. That's going to be 1.5. We can make those a little neater in a minute. I'm going to go from here down to here, and I want to actually kind of snap that here, and let's just go all the way. Do we need to do this if it's typical? Not really, but I like the idea of doing that. And I want that perpendicular, and I want that to kind of line up here. And my last one is going to be from here to here, and that is 3/8, and we'll click there. Okay, let's make this a tiny bit neater. I don't like the way this 3/8 looks here. See if it lets me move that up to here, and I think it's okay right there. And we can leave that like that. Now we need to do our dimensions going across here, so let's try that. We're going to go and grab our dimension tool here. I'm going to, let's see, I don't want it to snap and give me that 3, so I'm going to go until it gives me a lock here, and then I can go from there to here is 3/8, and then from here over to here is 1.5. I guess I have to click to lock that down. I might as well line it up. And then from here over to here is 5 3/4. And we'll do the last ones here. And I still have to measure. Do I have to do the width of the tab? No, I don't have to do the tab because I already did that on the top. So I think this is actually the last bit that we need to dimension here. Everything should be good. Let's leave off here and we'll come back in one last video showing us how to put this in print mode and put your name in here, and how to turn it into our classroom. Thank you so much for joining me on this part, and I hope your dimensions turned out well. If you need to move anything else around, do that now, and you can kind of make things look a little better so that they look cleaner, and we'll see you in the next one.